Hello everyone, this is your host Legend, and welcome back to my channel. Today marked the beginning of Tacticus' most generous event to date, the Mythic celebration. Over the course of the event's 14 days, you can acquire upwards of 2,500 choice character shards, coins, machine of war components, XP books, and ascension orbs, relics, items, and much more. Character shards update daily. The quality of the items, like XP books and ascension orbs, will depend on what stage of the game your account is at. I wanted to take some time briefly to cover what spending should look like in this event depending where you are in your Tacticus journey. For the purpose of this video, I am only looking at character shards and how you should prioritize the spending of your mythic seals and on what characters. How you should spend your mythic seals and acquire character shards depends on where you are in the game. We'll first take a look at early game players. If you're a player in the early game, how this event will look will vary drastically from a late game player. When it comes to what you should spend your mythic seals on, we got many good options, but we must look at it in tiers of priority. First priority should always be campaign characters you don't already have unlocked, or campaign characters that are in need of promotion and their rarity cap increased. Although it will be tempting, do not focus legendary characters, for you will only be able to acquire 250 of the 500 shards you need to unlock them. And the seals you spend to get them that far are better spent on campaign characters. Our second priority should be characters from a particular guild raid team. This event is generous but not unlimited, so we must choose wisely. We can use a bit of criteria to judge who we should go for. If we are so early in the game that we have less than, let's say, 10 to 15 characters unlocked, we should look at what guild raid team interests us and move towards building them. In the case of my early game account, featured in my Zero to Hero series, I am going to be pushing for AdMech characters because it is a guild raid team I am already familiar with and is one of the most potent teams in the whole game. If our account has, let's say, 20 to 25 characters unlocked, then we can look at who we have unlocked, who we are close to unlocking, and what team they fall into. Say we have characters like Bellator. In this case, we will say his rarity cap is already at rare, we have forecasts unlocked, and are roughly halfway to unlocking Asmodai. Then we should focus on multi-hit characters, such as the aforementioned Asmodai, Snotflaga, Athena, Eldrion, and other characters potent to the multi-hit team. If we have characters like Neurothrope, Yazgor, and Rosrithra, then we should focus characters belonging to the Psyker team. Our third, heavily air quote priority should be legendary characters. For this example, we will entertain the idea that you have had some, in this case, god tier pulls, and your first 20 to 25 characters are somehow well promoted and capped. Only then may we even think to consider dumping some of our seals into legendary characters. If we're being more realistic, we have ignored the greater priorities in turn for getting some legendary character shards. We will do good to remember that we can only acquire 250 of their shards, so we must do it for the legendaries that count. These would be characters such as Ragnar, Unshi, Vitruvius, Karn, and Helbrecht. Unfortunately, we cannot get shards for Dante, Trajan, Patermine, or Lucius because their legendary release events have not fully concluded, meaning they are not in the requisition pool. For players in the mid-game, priorities are a little more fluid. At this point, some base campaigns are completed, hero release events are being completed at a greater quality, and we are really gearing up our guild raid team. At this point, it is not a bad idea to make our top priority whatever guild raid team we are currently building up. At this point, we should have a good start on a guild raid team, and it would do us good to remember that we should really only focus on one team until they are fully assembled and leveled up. Getting shards for your core characters and chosen flex characters is going to help to accelerate your game the most. For a middle game player, second tier priority is a mix of things. At this point, we have unlocked or halfway unlocked some legendary characters, but we also need to gear some campaign characters for their elite campaigns. For those roughly halfway unlocked legendaries, if they are characters like Ragnar, Unshi, Halbrecht, or other guild raid important legendaries, then it will not be a bad idea to invest your mythic seals into them. Otherwise, we focus on characters critical to our elite campaigns. Once again, barely unlocked legendaries are our dead last for priorities. They do not need to be invested in at all. For late game players, priorities are very different. Either most or all the campaigns are fully cleared, so we have no need to continue seeking out these characters for any other reason than personal preference. Instead, our priorities shift towards getting our guild raid critical units to mythic rarity, which entails getting those characters to legendary blue star or getting more of their mythic shards. If we already have the shards required to promote them, it is a good idea to purchase the appropriate mythic or legendary ascension orbs we need. Second priority will be characters that, despite our playtime, we have not managed to unlock. These are typically legendary characters, and no matter how little we've got them unlocked, we've hit a point where it's not a bad idea just to put into them. And as already stated, campaign characters are nothing but preference now, so any remaining mythic seals can be spent on misc resources.